Hey, hello everybody, welcome back to Walt Plays Dark Souls. Got quite a bit of unique gear that's fairly powerful last playthrough, and I did level it up a little bit, so we're well equipped to deal with the next area. In this next area, I'm actually going to be going back through an area that we've already been through, and actually just finishing it up. You probably remember descending into the Dark Root Basin to fight the Hydra a little bit earlier. Well, there's a ladder behind that, and that takes you up to the other side of the door in the Darkroot Garden that you can open up with the 20,000 soul key you can buy from the blacksmith. Of note, behind that, there is a covenant, a group of people that defend the woods, actual players, and it's the resting place of Artorias now that we have returned from the past. He still has his great wolf companion, Sif. While Sif is quite younger in the DLC, you can actually rescue Sif from the abyss. But unfortunately, whether we want to or not, we do need to defeat Sif to get the ring from Artorias' grave that'll let us progress in the game. So this is going to be a little bit more of an exploratory episode. You've already seen me go through this, but it'll be a tad bit different once I climb up the ladder. We're going to take it kind of slowly, defeat some of the NPC invaders there, and we may even get invaded ourselves, actually. One thing that's kind of annoying about just about all of this, really, is that, well, I think I am going to kindle a bonfire, but the closest bonfire to that area is actually in the Valley of the Drakes down here. You've seen me get this bonfire before while I was fighting Hobble, and there was a Black Knight guarding this. This will be the closest bonfire, so I'm going to go ahead and kindle this with the scant humanity that we do have left. It takes us down to 4 humanity. Artorias' greatsword, the one that we just got, actually does scale with humanity, which is kind of cool, because we want to stay at high humanity anyways, truthfully. Alright, that should do it. That'll get us 10 Estus Flasks. After we do this, the next thing that we're going to want to do, outside of getting the Great Shield of Artorias, is we're going to progress into the Catacombs, which is Nito's lair. And I like to do that before the other main bosses of the game, purely for the reason that as you do go through that area, you get the ability to use 15 Estus Flasks versus 10, which is really helpful during some of the more difficult areas. So I'm still using at this point the Grass Crest Shield. That stamina regen's quite nice, and it stacks with a couple other things that we're using. Our power, we're not quite up to full power at this point, just because we only have 4 out of 10 humanity, but we still do a sizable amount of damage with this thing. It's quite a powerful sword. I intend to increase dexterity quite a bit. Yeah, it's just one-shotting golems, so that flip attack's pretty cool, but also has a really long wind-up. Yeah, there we go. Couple hits, 600 damage. The forest invaders can be a little bit tricky. I mean, no more so than the other NPCs in the game, but the fact of the matter is, they engage you in pretty big groups. Some of them have pretty decent gear, too. I mean, there's some that don't do much of anything. They have spider shields and axes, and there's a couple guys that use great swords that hit real hard. Ferris is up there with his longbow, the Black Bow of Ferris. Overall, pretty cool area. I may actually just run and join the Covenant so I don't have to contend with them, although they do drop a ton of souls. So, we'll see how we're doing when we get up there and what our Estus Flasks are looking like. Prefer to not waste them all. I may actually beat Sif first, and then explore the garden. That'll allow me to go into the Sif fight with all my Estus Flasks. Yeah, let's do that first. That'll make things a little bit easier. Let's do that first. So when you come to the top here, there's a little wooden bridge. This is the other side of the Darkroot Garden. I believe you get a coal for your blacksmith characters up here too. Being guarded by some giant weird mushrooms. Another soul packet. Just be careful as you're hugging the wall there. You're required to go up the second ladder. we're immediately going to turn around and make a sprint for the fog door. Again, purely for the reasoning that I'd like to keep all of my Estus flasks in hand. Some really difficult enemies up here, these like spinning cat things that are really annoying to contend with. They're really mobile, they hit really hard, and there's one right there. Yeah, but I'm just not going to mess with that. Try to get out of here as fast as I can. Do not want to be mutilated before I make an attempt to fight the boss. They'll follow you for a ways. I believe there's ultimately only 2 of them. Not about that right now. We'll explore this after the boss. Great Wolf, Artorias' companion, try to stay underneath Sif. You can block a good number of his hits, but what's kind of cool is she actually uses a lot of Sif's moves. She uses some of his moveset, despite the fact that, you know, Sif's a wolf. A pretty area in here, too. I really like this area. You'll see that Sif is using Artorias' greatsword as well. All the flowers, you can see his greatsword is actually the one that I'm using. A little bit less corrupt, but there it is. I think there's an item right behind here, too. Yeah, there is. The Hornet Ring. It belongs to one of the Knights of Gwyn. Maybe Ciaran, Lord's Blade Ciaran. We didn't run into her in the DLC yet, but a little bit of a cutscene here where we meet Sif. Guarding the grave. Cool fight, pretty difficult, cool fight. Oof. Yeah, we want to stay underneath if we can. I'm going to be making good use of this Grass Crest shield here. Yeah. Even while underneath, it can be a little bit hard to hit. Oof. It may actually be easier to not lock on. Yeah, I'm having some trouble actually. Just getting some hits in, but quite a bit of damage. All underneath, yeah, it seems to be quite a bit easier actually to just not lock on, just attack the legs. Sweep the legs. Yeah, not too hard to block. It's actually kind of a sad fight, you know, especially towards the end. You know, Sif has trouble keeping up with you. We're expending quite a bit in the way of Estus Flask, so could be going better, but see if we can get a block. Yeah, we might be okay. Sif seems to be playing fairly defensively. Yeah, we could very well win this. Oof. All comes down to whether or not I can get an Estus Flask off, and yep, it's going to be real close. Ouch. I'll make a run for right underneath here. She's getting tired. Yeah, that's it for the Sif fight. Drops the sword on the ground. Now we got the Covenant of Artorias, which is a ring that lets us fight the 4 kings of New Londo. Got Sif's soul, a humanity, and a homeward bone. We got a good chunk of souls too, so we're going to end this episode by doing a couple things. Now, we are going to come back and explore this place in the next episode. What I'd like to do now, though, is upgrade the shield, the Knight Shield all the way, and turn it into the Great Shield of Artorias. So that's going to be our next goal. From the bonfire, we're going to want to go to... I think Chamber of the Princess might be fastest. We're going on the Giant Blacksmith. That's the goal. This is the area in which we fought Ornstein and Smo. Ooh, I thought that was worth quite a bit more, but 5,000 is pretty paltry at this point in the game. Now, the Great Shield of Artorias is phenomenal. It's really heavy, but it has a ton of stability, so I'm going to enjoy his great sword. We'll have all of his gear at this point, not counting the other two swords. I don't think they're as good as the sword I'm using right now anyhow, so... Yeah, these guys are slow. Ooh, he got me just a little bit there. Got him in the toe. The toe slash for the win. Easy 3,000 souls. I'm just going to completely eschew the shield at this point to charge up on this Silver Knight that's firing his great bow at me. Ooh, did not go well. Do not recommend. Oh, he fell down too. Oh. Yeah, the giant's coming too. I'm just going to make a beeline for the blacksmith here. I have a Knight Shield at level 5. I think I did modify it to level 6. I'm not positive. It should cost us about 8 or 9 chunks. Or Knight Shards. So I'm going to just err on the side of caution. Let me go ahead and see if... Yeah, I do have to actually modify it, I believe. Yep. So I'll go ahead and purchase some large Titanite Shards. 9 ought to do it. Oof, man, that's a sizable investment. I don't think... Yeah. This is a little bit of a pain, so what we're going to have to do at this point... We will need to go back to Andre in the Undead Parish. So he can modify this into a +6 shield. That should get it to +10 right after, and then we can use this giant blacksmith here to go ahead and turn it into the Great Shield of Artorias. So I don't know which way is quicker, going down to the Dark Moon Tomb ultimately, or going back to the Chamber of the Princess. Either way, I'm killing the giants on the way, so I'm getting some souls. I know we do need to send this back down and get into the Dark Moon Tomb. Okay. Now, in order to get the Great Shield of Artorias, Soul of Sif is actually a rare commodity here because you can make 3 unique items from that you required in order to get all of the trophies in this game. You can make 2 versions of Artorias' sword, the Great Sword of Artorias, and alternatively the Cursed Great Sword of Artorias, depending on what weapon you level up to 10 before you use the soul. You can also make his Great Shield as well. That just requires any shield to be on level 10 and be at the Giant Blacksmith. And I don't want to send my Grass Crest Shield because it's still super helpful, even though we won't be using it a lot from here on. That +6. Now now we should be able to reinforce it. And it is a weapon. I know it's armor, but it's weapons. It's a weapon in this, apparently. And we had just enough, so that's perfect. So that's now on level 10.
Get yourself, knight.
Now we have to go back to the Giant's blacksmith here. I think at this point it'll probably be a little bit too, unfortunately, too heavy for us to use with a perfect roll, but I intend to up our endurance anyways, so we'll go ahead and do this for the Dark Moon Tomb this time. Vader up, running past the two giants. And I know I have enough souls for it, so that should not be an issue. I'm hoping that I have just enough left over that I can actually level up my character too. It'd be nice. We're going to throw points. For now, our damage is fine, really. I like to throw more points in endurance, you know, be able to swing this thing around a little bit more and be able to roll with Artorias' Great Shield equipped. Again, the shield's great, but it's the third heaviest shield in the game, I believe. Almost positive on that. Well, I can check afterwards, but as much as I remember, I believe it's the third heaviest Great Shield. Oh, come on now. More than a little bit rude. I don't know that the gargoyles will follow me in the blacksmith room. They may not. I don't really want to contend with, like, I mean, if they fight me, I guess, but I'm really worried about them hitting the blacksmith, too. Causing some issues for me there. Try to go up the stairs a bit. Ugh, this could have been avoided, guys. There's one. All I wanted to do was use my shield. Now this is where we're at, I guess. Ugh, I'm gonna die. What a pain. Nah, maybe not. I don't know. Either way, this is annoying. I should have just taken them out one at a time. There's another one. Man, that guy's an idiot. He's just stabbing straight ahead. Yeah, you missed me, guy. Alright, finally. Lightning Knight Shield, Crystal Knight Shield, or Great Sword of Artorias. There we are. Let's throw that bad boy on, and that'll be the end of this episode. Great Shield of Artorias, 88 stability, 100% physical. Fire is great, lightning magic a little bit lower, but all in all, stats much better. And apparently I need more strength to wield it, so I don't know how helpful it is now, but I have to level up a couple times. Yeah, that said, cosplay complete. This is everything. We got the Abyss Sword, we got his Great Shield, we got his armor. I mean, we're looking good. I'll level up a little bit between videos, that way we can use this with no issues, but it's been fun. Hope everybody's enjoying this. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time on Walt Plays Dark Souls.